order. Okay, so in 1993, Kate Rush Cook was kidnapped, terrorized, robbed, and repeatedly raped by a man she had never seen before. Her rapist was acquitted of all charges. 11 years later, her rapist was arrested, charged, and convicted of similar crimes and sentenced to 20 to 40 years in prison. In the 18 years since her rape, Kate has spoken to many groups about her experience in an effort to educate and raise awareness. Kate always uses her name when speaking to show that she is not ashamed of what happened to her. She is involved in many groups at both the state and local level that advocate for victims' rights and women's rights, including the Survivor Speakers Bureau of Pennsylvania. Most recently, Kate began making awareness and survivor jewelry specific to sexual violence, child abuse, and domestic violence. 25% from the sale of each piece purchased through the SNK Awareness Jewelry is donated back to agencies that serve this victim population. Through adversity and with perseverance, Kate believes that she can make a difference.
Hello, SlutwalkDC. I'm so excited to be here. This is my third Slutwalk. I spoke at Slutwalk Baltimore and Slutwalk Philadelphia last year, and I'm so honored to be here today. I felt the hand before I saw it, squeezing my throat, choking me, gasping for air. What is happening? I heard his voice. Unlock the car, I'm getting in. His hand still on my throat. I gasped for air. I listened and complied with his demands. I was in fear for my life. Every 2 minutes in our country, a woman is being raped. In 1993, at the age of 20, I became a statistic. I was kidnapped, terrorized, robbed, and repeatedly raped by a man I had never seen before. My story actually begins early in 1993. My best friend was killed during a high-speed police chase when the man who was being chased ran a red light and ran into her car. She was pronounced brain dead by the doctors that morning. I felt as if my whole world had collapsed. I was devastated, and months later, still suffering. 6 months after her death, my friends convinced me that I should go out. I had barely been out of the house since she had been killed. I was going to go with some friends to an under 21 nightclub and then have a good old-fashioned sleepover. I even went out and bought a new outfit for the occasion. A pair of jeans, a black camisole, a black long-sleeve lace shirt. The night started off as we planned and then took a turn for the worse when we stopped at a friend's house on the way home. A friend of mine was going to walk to a bar to get some beer, but I convinced him to let me drive because it was in a bad area of town. As he entered the bar, I saw some men sitting on a porch. One of the men walked past my car. He then came from behind, put his hand through my open window on my throat and began to choke me. He told me he had a gun and ordered me to unlock the doors. He entered my car and told me that if I did not do as I was told, my friend would be killed. He had me drive to a non-residential area and turn my car off. This is where my life was forever altered. There, in my car, I was raped repeatedly. I had no bruises and no scratches. I complied with his every demand because he was threatening to kill me. I knew where we were and where he could run if I got a chance, but I never got that chance. I guess they don't want us to have Slutwalk. This ordeal lasted for 6 hours. Eventually, he He allowed me to dress in my jeans and my black laced shirt with no bra and told me to start the car. He said he was going to take me somewhere to kill me. He even gave me a choice in the method that he would use. By the grace of God, my car did not start. We got out of the car. We walked about 3 miles back to the area where this horrific ordeal began. All the while, he introduced me to people as his girlfriend. Before he let me go, he said, "If I had paper and a pencil, I would give you my name. Can you remember this?" He spelled his name out for me. He told me he trusted me and he let me go. I believe that he trusted me because I had talked with and reasoned with him. The police told me that that had probably saved my life. When he let me go, I realized where I was and began running about a mile to my friend's house. While I was running, the reality of what had happened to me was setting in. I wanted to take a hot shower and scrub my body clean. The whole time he held me captive, he told me that his friends knew where I lived, and that if I did not do as he ordered me to do, my friends would be taken care of. After finding out that all of my friends were safe, they convinced me to call the police. A squad car was sent to my location. The officer that arrived, I later found out, was not experienced in sexual assault cases and dealing with victims. I was taken to the hospital in the back of a police car. While the officer may not have considered it, he made me feel like I was the criminal. When I arrived at the hospital, the nurse told me that if I had been home where I belonged, I would have never been raped. My then boyfriend told me I was a whore and blamed the rape on me. In January of 1994, I went to court. I was a manager at a retail clothing store, so I dressed as if I was going to work. I had a houndstooth-clad suit, black high heels, and I had my hair done and my nails done. When I arrived, the district attorney's office told me I needed to change my clothes to appear more victim-like. I had no idea what victim-like clothing was. I was told to wear clothing that was modest, long sleeves, turtlenecks, and long skirts. When the trial began, I was devastated by the defense's story that they had concocted. His defense was that as a result of the death of my best friend, I had turned to drugs and prostitution to forget about her. He was a known drug dealer. So therefore, their defense was that I was a prostitute and I sold myself to support my drug habit, so there was no rape. After court concluded that first day, I went shopping for victim-like clothing to wear the remainder of the trial. The actual trial is a blur to me. It was bad enough having to tell the police what happened, but in court you have to recount the rape in excruciating detail for 12 strangers, your family, and many times the media. I was asked questions like, where did you buy your underwear? And what color were they? The last day of the trial had arrived and I dressed in my victim-like clothing for court. After testimony was finished for the day, the judge called a recess for lunch. I went to lunch with my mother and my friend who had been with me that night. I remember my mother told a joke. It was really dumb and I laughed at it. And I will never forget that last day. I came to the courthouse dressed in my victim-like clothing as directed by the DA, wearing cream and tan pinstripe pants, a cream turtleneck, and a sweater that looked like it came from my grandmother's closet. I had my long hair pulled up on the sides, and the joke of the day was, if I had glasses, I would look like a librarian. During the trial, I was using a locked employee's bathroom because I had been attacked by my rapist family members the first day. After lunch that last day, I was in the bathroom with my mother. Closing arguments were to begin after lunch, and I was a bundle of nerves. I was crying, and my mother was comforting me. She said, "After today, you won't have to wear these librarian clothes anymore. You can go back to wearing your funky clothes and being Katie." During the course of these events, a woman entered the bathroom. She used the bathroom, washed her hands, and left without giving us a second glance. When we re-entered the courtroom, I saw the woman from the bathroom speaking in hushed tones with the defense attorney. When court reconvened, I was called to the witness stand again. The defense attorney asked me about using a locked bathroom and about the conversation that I had had with my mother. He twisted the conversation around to give it a totally different meaning. I was asked if I knew the woman from the bathroom, which I did not. He asked me if she had been in the bathroom when I was in there, and I answered yes. He said, "So you know her?" And I said, "Just because I saw her in the bathroom does not mean that I know her." I was dismissed from the witness stand with not so much as a question from the district attorney or the comment from the judge. Then the woman from the bathroom was called to the stand. She recounted her version of the story, and remember, I had no interaction with this woman. She twisted the story around to make it sound like I wasn't telling the truth. Closing arguments were given. The jury was charged. 45 minutes later, the jury acquitted my rapist of all charges. My rapist looked at me and laughed. Yeah! It was later that I found out that the bathroom lady's comment called my credibility into question with the jury. In actuality, that line of questioning was meant to imply that I was not dressing as I normally dressed, which was true. However, the issue of my clothing should not have played a role in determining if I was in fact raped. It is a stereotype that women who dress provocatively or slutty are asking to be raped. What happened to me during my trial perpetuates this stereotype. In addition, 2 of the jurors that saw me laugh at lunch felt that if I had been truly victimized, I wouldn't have been laughing. Because did you know, if you're raped, you can never laugh again? Just so you know. I share my story with you so you can understand that even though great strides have been made to improve the field of victims' rights, there's still a huge stigma surrounding victims of rape and sexual assault. This is the only crime where the victim feels they have to prove their innocence. When I reported my rape, I never believed that I would have to prove that my story was true or I'd have to justify my actions. I'd answer questions like, did you scream? Did you try to get away? Did you fight him off? Robbery victims would never be asked these questions. I believe that in order for change to happen, our society needs to view rape as the crime of violence that it is and hold the rapist responsible, not make the victims justify their actions or defend the way they were dressed. As a community, we need to support victims when they report the crime. We need to aid these women in their journey from victim to survivor. Finally, I would like to say, as a society, we need to abolish this archaic belief that a way a woman dresses contributes to the violence that's perpetrated against her. No one asks to be the victim of sexual violence. No one. In closing, I'd like to share with you my very favorite quote, and I hope that some of you will love it as much as I do. and repeat it if you'd like. I am not a victim or a survivor. I am a warrior and a hero.